Hello, I'm back. It's been a couple months since I think May was the last time I talked to y'all, and here I am making another video. So let's get straight to it. Today I'm going to be telling you stories from my industry of my work, which is serving. And I feel like when people hear me say, oh, I work as a server, they're like, oh, that's not a real job. But like, let me tell ya, it's fucking exhausting. It's hard as shit when you're like, when you have so many fucking tables and so much shit to do. It's a hard job, and people don't fucking get that serving is fucking difficult, okay? Let me tell ya, I wish that everyone in this world could, like, be a server for, like, a week or something, just so they could understand it, so they're not complete dicks to servers when they go out to eat, because I've had to deal with bullshit from people that's fucking unacceptable, and we'll get into that. So, I've been working as a server for the past 5 years, been at my current restaurant for 2.5 of those 5 years, and even though I constantly complain about my job, and not really about my job, but about the shit I have to put up with, I actually do love my job, which is kind of weird to think that I would actually love serving, but I actually do love it. And I think I'm, like, pretty good at my job now. Okay, so I wrote on my phone a couple of my favorite stories. So I kind of wanted to start off with, like, talking about regulars. So, you know, there are regulars that I absolutely adore, but there are some that piss me off, and because some of them come to my work literally every day, and there's a couple that come more than once a day, so they think that they own the place, they think that they can just walk into the back, and then that's okay, and they think that they can just, like, get service in front of everyone else, and so that is the problem. Like, you know, obviously I'm gonna serve you, I'm gonna get there, but, like, if I have tables that came in before you, and if you fucking seat yourself in the bar where I can't fucking see you in the corner, don't expect me to, like, you know, cut off all my other tables just because I saw you sit there. So, there is this one gentleman, we're gonna call him Tom. So Tom comes into my work every single day. Lately it's been more than once a day. And he comes during our happy hour at work, which means that we have a couple wines that are cheaper from 2 to 5 p.m. And then we have a couple appies that are, like, cheaper during this time. So he comes in always during the cheap time to get cheap food and cheap wine. And he always self-seats himself in the bar in the corner table. You know, if someone's sitting there, then he freaks out. One time he actually went up to the table that was occupied by other people and asked them to move. And we had to be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, go find somewhere else to sit. Or let us seat you somewhere. Like, I don't understand what your problem is, dude. Okay, and so he always self-seats in the bar. And if you don't get to him, literally within a minute, sometimes less than a minute, he'll get up and find a server and be like, oh, I need my wine. And it's like, and if you have, like, tables that you're, like, trying to do, if you're doing a payment, if you're, you know, putting a different order in, he freaks the fuck out. My other coworker told me that one time she was doing a payment of another man that was sitting at a table beside him, and he, like, tried to order, and she was like, okay, like, I'm literally putting a payment through right now, so I'll put your food in, like, literally, like, in, like, a minute. You just have got to wait. And he, like, freaked the fuck out. And I'm like, oh, how do people, like, think that they're, like, so entitled like that? Like, who do you think you are? Like, honestly, like, I wish I could say this to people, but I can't. It's not my job. So there's this one time when we were on the back and we saw him walk in for your camera, and we're like, oh, not it. Like, we're not going up to serve Tom. And so I lost this because I was the last one to say not it. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to serve him today. I can't deal with this. So anyway, I walk up to him, and he's already waiting, like, at the side of the bar where, like, the computer is to put in his food. And he's like, he has a British accent, so I'm going to do my best impression. I'm sorry this is offensive to anyone. He goes, oh, I'd like a lovely glass of 6-ounce wine and a 6 ounce of water, because he fucking mixes them, like, and likes to water down his wine. I don't understand. But anyway, so I say, okay, like, I'm going to pour it to you, and you can sit at your table, and I'll bring it to you. But for some reason, he doesn't like to do that. He'll literally wait for me to pour it and take it from me himself and walk to his table, which is like, okay, but, like, I don't want you to just stand there and wait for me. Like, I'd rather bring it to you, but that's besides the point. And then, so one time, actually, I was getting his wine for him, and then he's like, oh, I'd also like a 1-piece fish and chips. And he always gets his fish and chips with no paper, because at my work we put newspaper under the plate. And he's like, I don't want pepperoni, I want it on a flat plate. And I was like, okay, yeah, like, that's fine, but, like, I'm getting your wine. He's like, no, you're gonna put my food in first. And I'm like, what do you want? Like, you ask me for wine, I freak out if I don't get your wine. But then you want your food. Like, I can't do everything at the same time. Oh my god, I'm gonna, like, die. So, yeah, he's great. I love him. Obviously not, but, like, I don't know, like, if you just do what he wants, then he's really low maintenance. You don't really, I mean, you do check on him because he's always like, you have to keep an eye on me. Even though the section that I'm assigned is like across the restaurant, and then you seat yourself in a section that's closed. Like, I don't fucking get it. Anyway, that's enough about him. I literally spent like 3 minutes talking about him. I just cannot handle him. Oh, and then another thing about regulars is that we have some regulars that only come in during the day, and a lot of us servers like only do the night shift. So we don't, if we've never served you before, how the fuck do you expect us to just know your order? If we've never served you, we don't fucking know what you want. But like a lot of the regulars, like again, they're so used to the server just knowing what they want because they come in the same time every day, have like the same 4 servers because they all are day servers. If they come in at a different time and have a different server, they expect that server just to know what they want. And it's like, I don't know, if you have someone new that you haven't seen before, or someone that you've been only served by a few times, I think you should just always like tell them what you fucking want. Like, don't expect people just to know. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, I don't know. And even for me, if I usually ask the regulars, I'm like, oh, are you getting like the usual? And sometimes they switch it up. So like, you can't just assume like right away we're gonna know. It's just so fucking irritating, dude. Like, I cannot handle people. Okay. So at my work, I'm the restaurant that I work at. Well, my area, it's a lot of seniors in the area. There's like a retirement home like right across the street from us. There's the mall. We're right beside a mall. It's mainly for seniors. So a lot of our customers are older people, which is fine. Like, I actually love serving the older people. A lot of them are so sweet and so nice and really, really just like, I don't know, just nice. And that's what I really love about it. And it's really easy for me to make conversation with them. But there's been some that have been grouchy old hags. I'm so sorry, that's so rude, but like I was actually talking to my coworker about this. I think a lot of them like they're old, so like maybe their families don't live here, whatever, so they don't have a lot to do. So like going out to eat at our restaurant is like they're like outing for the day, and like they're like, ooh, big thing to do today, going out to eat at blank restaurant name. So what happened? So a few weeks ago, I was doing a day shift, and I had this table, and it was like an old lady and like her grandson and her son, something like that. And so I dropped the food on the table, and I guess I put the plate down a little too like loud or hard for her. I don't fucking know. And so she turns to me and she's like, come closer. And I'm like, okay, like, what are you gonna say to me? Like, I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, if that's how you're gonna place a plate down on the table, then you fuck. Oh, she didn't say fuck. She's like, if that's how you're gonna place the plate down on the table, then you need to find a new job because you shouldn't be a server. And I was like, like I really wanted to be like, okay, like bye. But I was like, okay, yeah. And I literally walked away. I was like, what the fuck? Like, these people, like, they're never fucking happy. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. That like wasn't that big of a deal. I was just like really annoyed, and I ranted about it in the back. And then actually this weekend, I think it was Saturday, I was working a night shift, and I had this table who was like, they're kind of like had a weird vibe to them. The lady was like probably like in her 60s or something, which obviously isn't that old, but whatever. And so so when I'm busy at work and have a lot of tables and a lot of shit to do, I walk really fast, and like I really don't care how I look when I'm like so busy. I have so much shit to do, I'm not paying attention, right? Because I'm like so busy. The last thing I care about is like the way I look, you know? And so go by my table, and I see that they have cash on the table, and I'm like, oh, like, I'll be right back with your change. And then she's like, oh no, like, it's fine, like, it's all for you. Then she's like, she looks at me, and she's like, you are so pretty. And I'm like, oh my god, like, thank you, like, that's really nice. So I actually really do appreciate when people tell me that. And she's like, yeah, you're really pretty, but like, I have a tip for you to be prettier. And I was like, I literally think my smile looks like this. What? And I was like, oh, like, I don't want to just walk away because that's rude. And she's like, you look really, like, the way you walk. But she's like, I was watching you walk, and like, it did not look pretty. So you really need to work on that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, who the fuck cares? Like, I'm sorry, but like, when I'm busy at work and have shit to do, And that's trying to make every customer happy. Like, I really don't give a fuck about myself. I'm sorry. But I was like, okay, yeah. And she's like, so tonight when you go home, like literally thinking that I give a shit about what she's saying. Like, tonight when you go home, I want you to think about this conversation and try to work on that. And I was like, yeah, like that's a really like good point. That's a really good idea. And then I walked away and I'm like, and it kind of like annoyed me for the rest of the night because like I'm a really insecure person, and so like hearing someone be like, oh, I don't like the way you look when you walk, like it kind of pissed me off. But I was like, you know what, she's an old lady. I really shouldn't give a fuck. So that annoyed me. What else was I going to talk about? Okay. So if you don't work in the restaurant industry or don't have friends that work in that restaurant industry, I don't think that this really crosses people's minds because like you just don't think about it. And I probably was the same way before I became a server. I really didn't think about this kind of stuff. If you are going out to eat with a large group, like I say a large group is like 7 or more people, and it's either like late at night that you're going out, so like close to when the restaurant closes, or even like prime like dinner time, like 6, 7 o'clock. That's like usually when we get our rushes, right? Like I really think you should call the restaurant and ask if they have room for you, or just be like, heads up, like this many people's coming in today. I just think it like, I don't know, it's just like nice because it makes the restaurant be like, okay, like they're calling to let us know this many people's coming in so we can get like their table set up and blah blah. And like people at my restaurant have come in with a group of 20 people with no call ahead. And like that's fucking rude because if we're already like fucking booked up, like then a different server is gonna have to pick that table up and like fuck yourself over pretty much because you decided you weren't gonna call ahead to let us know that that's happening. So I don't know. I think if anyone's watching this that isn't in the restaurant industry, like just keep that in mind. Like maybe not 7 or 8, you don't need to call, but if you have at least like 12 people, I really think it's nice to call a restaurant just to let them know. You know? Speaking of large groups, so my restaurant closes Fridays and Saturdays. We close at 11. The weekdays and Sunday we close at 10, which is like kind of early, but like for the area we're in, like we usually don't get busy past that point except in the summertime because like it's, you know, lighter out later, right? This is a couple Sundays ago, yeah. How many people was it? Was it 15? I think we had a walk-in of 15 people. Like literally came like half an hour or like 15 minutes before we close, and we obviously can't turn them away. But like just like, I don't know, like if you they actually asked us what time we close and we told them like, okay, like you have room for us. We're like, yeah, like okay, sure. And so like I want to go home. I don't have to stay later for you. Like obviously like the money is good, but guess what, guys? This table didn't tip me. They came in, made me fucking stay late for them, all fucking separate bills, and they didn't tip me. Like, I don't know. If you're gonna come in with that many people, don't call ahead, fucking, like, make me stay late. I'd really appreciate a tip, you know? And again, like, a lot of people don't understand the tipping idea, or I guess understand tipping at all. But, like, it's just, like, it's hard for me to talk about because I don't want to be like, give me your money, because that's not how it is. But, like, why do you think that we, like, serve you? Like, I'm sorry, but, like, we do this job because of the money. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't tipping, and we still got paid the amount that we get paid right now, like, if it wasn't above minimum wage, no one would be a fucking server because it wouldn't be worth the money. I'm sorry. But, like, you gotta understand, like, I know, like, I feel, again, if you don't work in the restaurant industry, then you probably don't know this, but, like, at the end of our shifts, we have to tip out what we make, a percentage of what we make in tips to the kitchen and to the host and to the bartender. So if I worked a 5-hour shift and none of my tables tipped me, then I'd have to tip out to the restaurant out of my own pocket, you know? Because the cooks deserve a little bit of a tip, the host deserves a tip, the bartender deserves a tip, but I deserve a tip too. And if you don't tip me, then that's kind of like I'm paying to serve you kind of thing. And people don't really get that. So I don't want to go into this conversation because I feel like it's gonna piss a lot of people off because a lot of people that aren't servers don't like the tipping thing. So I'm not gonna go into that. But I don't know, just like being if you go out to eat and you don't work in the restaurant industry, just like try to understand servers have a bunch of different tables. You're not their only table, okay? Don't expect them. I mean, like obviously expect good service because they should be giving you good service. But like, if they take a little while to get to you, or like I don't know, if they mess up something that like is forgivable, don't freak out. Like shit happens. Servers are human. You know, people forget that we're human beings. We mess up. We make mistakes, but as long as servers are making an effort and trying and doing their best, that, in my opinion, maybe I'm the only one who thinks that, but I think that's all that matters. You know, I think I'm a good server because I genuinely like care and I genuinely try. And because of that, I always give good service because I'm trying. Obviously, if someone isn't trying, then they're going to give shitty service. But like, there's been times when I'm so busy that it's taking me a little bit longer to get to a table, and people like sometimes, like most of the time, they're actually good because like most people understand. But some people like they're so impatient, and it blows my mind because it's like you're not the king of this fucking world. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say today because I'm just like going crazy right now. That's all I wanted to say. If you have any, server stories that you'd like to talk about, leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment. If you want me to do a part 2 of more, because I have lots of stories, I totally will. So I actually have fun talking about this. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love y'all. Bye.